There's never a better time than the holidays to kick back, relax, and consume your favorite Christmas-themed movie slop. But between all the Hallmark movies and the cliched children's action adventure movies, there lie some true gems, such as It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Vacation, Carol, Eyes Wide Shut, or better yet, the classic Bruce Willis led action extravaganza Christmas classic, Die Hard. If there's anything that truly defines the Christmas spirit, it's surely Bruce Willis, hair optional, killing a bunch of meddling terrorists to save the life of a loved one. This, however, kind of misses the mark. Hello everyone, it's synrgi here, back with another episode of Investigation Behind the Media. This year's low-effort video will center around a slightly less low-effort film, Heartkill, Matt Eskandari's 2020 masterpiece. This film is constructed in a manner pretty similar to Die Hard, with the good, pro-establishment veterans going against a bunch of terrorists, all confined within the limits of a single building. Although in this case, it's Bruce Willis' character that's confined and pretty much held hostage, actually, within the tight space for a majority of the movie. This is typical of one of those late career Bruce Willis movies he starred in for a couple of years before he retired from acting in 2022. Reportedly, he only works there for about 2 days, walks away with somewhere around $2 million and top billing at the end. Now, for the most people that do this could just be explained as an aging star trying to cash in on their name and whatever bit of cultural relevance they have to get a nice paycheck. But in the case of Bruce Willis, given that he retired because of his dementia, I don't want to go too hard on him. However, I just want to get my critique of Bruce Willis's role in this movie out of the way first, so we can get to some more relevant bits later. In this, it's very clear that the filmmakers are working around his limited availability, because the film forgets about Bruce Willis' character's existence for a significant part of its runtime. There's one point where the main characters, put him in a room of the building, no supervision, no lock and key, nothing, and he just stays there for 40 minutes. He's pretty much just there. He's the main object of the movie, and he's just in a room with, I'm pretty sure, a gun. But then even when he gets brought back, even when the film actively deals with him, he isn't really all there.
Don't worry about me, soldier. I know you will, Miller.
Sometimes even literally, but we'll get to that later. But to sum up the film's plot really quick, it's basically around Bruce Willis's character's daughter, who invents a quantum AI program, seemingly out of spite, and she sells it to the ideologically inconsistent bad guys who want to destroy the world. It's actually very unclear what this AI does. We never really get to see it do anything. We know that it can both save the world and destroy it simultaneously. However, the only indication of what it can do is when the bad guys tell us they crashed a plane with it, which, coming from a guy that wants to destroy the world with it, is a pretty weak warning shot. You gotta get better at making threats. Again, the bad guys' motivations are really unclear. The only indication of his ideology is when he goes on a little monologue about how the big guy is squashing the little guy and how the system needs to change. And I'm like, if that's supposed to make him look unsympathetic, then we have our precursor to Luigi Mangione here.
Greed is the root of all pain, of all suffering, of all evil.
But either way, his squad doesn't really pose a threat to anybody. I mean, these guys want to destroy the world, but they get instantly neutralized by a guy with dementia and a couple of his ex-Navy SEAL cronies. Granted, one of them dies. All right, spoiler alert for those of you who did really want to see Hard Kill starring Bruce Willis. But one of them does die, and but it doesn't really impact the rest of the movie all that much. They just have one less guy, and they still manage to clear through all of the bad guys with ease. It's a very convoluted movie, is all I'm saying. The FBI and the CIA haven't even bothered to look into what this guy's deal is. It's a very weird organization. They're very badly organized terrorists. The film's storyline is filled to the brim with contrivances and contradictions with no nuances to be found whatsoever. As for the characters, I mean, I would call them caricatures, but to call them caricatures would imply there's some sort of creative writing at play here. I'm fairly certain that part of this film was written with a generative quantum AI. But I'm not sure. Did ChatGPT exist in 2020? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all, actually. And on a technical level, much like this video right now, it's lit like Wicked, except that Wicked at least has the decency to throw in the colors pink and green every once in a while just to shake things up. Whereas Hard Kill looks like it was shot on my buddy's old GoPro. Actually, even my buddy's old GoPro has more character than the glossy look of these direct-to-streaming movies, but that's another subject. Before we move on, I just want to highlight one moment near the beginning where one of the guy mercenaries meets his old friend at the bar, tells him to flirt with the lady at the counter without telling him that she's also his friend and that she's about to rock his shit. Which means that there's at least two characters in this movie that derive pleasure from setting up their own friends to get the crap beaten out of them by another unknown friend. But anyways, onto the somehow lazier part of this video, the investigation. This is one of the many factory assembled movies called geezer teasers that a lot of aging movie stars make late into their careers when they decide that they want to make some kind of money and they maybe still want to make a couple of movies but not really get involved as much. They become much more lenient with their standards, and the only thing they look at before getting into a job is how big the check is. It's kind of like what Snoop Dogg is doing at the moment.
How much would it cost to get on a song if I didn't want to go that route, which obviously we want to.
250,000.
250?
Yeah.
So if somebody gives you 250,000, that means that you'll
You
jump
get
on
about 16 bars.
16 bars?
Mm-hmm. And when it's time to do the video, I need to get another 250 up out of you.
All right. Big money.
And you,
Is that
only, and you only
standard?
got an hour, so get to filming.
Now, apparently, these geezer teasers have helped many a filmmaker get a project off the ground and financed. But my only reaction to that is kind of a surprise. Like, these are the films you desperately wanted to make? I don't want to insult the filmmakers too much either. It's clear they're working under very tight constraints on these projects. And I don't want to shit on the efforts of someone who's actually going out there and making movies. Making movies is hard, all right? I respect the efforts, even if I really don't like the final product. What we do know, however, is that a significant amount of these movies' budgets goes to the main star of the movie, and that could be anyone. From these three Italians to, in this case, the king of the geezers himself, Bruce Willis. According to an article from GQ, which quotes another article from the LA Times, Bruce Willis's salary for this movie was $1.5 million, with his contract stipulating that one person would be paid up to $4,000 a week to feed his lines through an earpiece, sort of like Marlon Brando and Dr. Moreau. Assuming that Bruce Willis spread out these 4 days over the course of 4 separate weeks, which could very well be the case. I'm sure that this was a very exhausting period of time for him specifically. That means that this unknown person could have gotten paid up to $16,000 to read Uncle Bruce some lines over the telephone. Where are these kinds of jobs when you need them? Again, I don't want to joke about this too much because according from people that worked on these final Bruce Willis movies, his situation was pretty sad to witness firsthand. All right, and a lot of the action shots in this movie specifically, and in a lot of his other action movies, They actually used body doubles instead of him to handle all the guns. Um, which, not to be that guy, but you could tell. However, I don't think that dementia was the only factor in choosing to have a stunt double do the gun scenes instead of Bruce Willis. In fact, on the set of this movie in Cincinnati, there was an incident where Bruce Willis fired a gun off cue, which reportedly left a lot of the crew shaking. Now, thankfully, the gun was only loaded with blanks and he didn't hurt anyone, but it is a pretty bizarre incident, though. But hey, if you're one of those people that wasn't left shaken by Bruce Willis accidentally shooting a gun off cue, then you are going to win every single round of Two Truths, One Lie you will play for the rest of your life. However, the major cause for concern in these movies is actually not Bruce Willis himself, it is the producer. He was actually a producer on a lot of these geezer teasers, and his name is Randall Emmett. Now, Emmett co-founded the company Emmett Furler Productions in 1998, and it's been responsible for a lot of these late career moneymakers for a lot of aging stars, in particular Bruce Willis. First is his infidelity. Actually, for a little while, Randall Emmett dated the lead actress in this movie, Lala Kent, who plays Bruce Willis's daughter, and she was a contestant on the show Vanderpump Rules, which I'm not familiar with. I know like one or two people that watch it, but I'm really not familiar with it at all. But he was on the show for a little bit until she broke up with him because she found some pretty disturbing evidence of him cheating on her. So yeah, infidelity for one, not great, but it gets worse. In 2022, an expose comes out in the LA Times, which reveals that there's been a whole slew of essay allegations against Emmett, including an alleged settlement of $200,000 to one of his victims. So yeah, even if he's produced some pretty great movies, he's kind of a shitty guy all around. So, what did we learn from all of this? Well, in my opinion, I think there's three major takeaways. First off, the economy sucks. Two, it is hard and expensive to make a feature film. And three, every successful acting career ends in one of two ways. Either in an untimely accident or a very early retirement, or you just star in a bunch of mediocre movies that get you a decent paycheck until you fade away into irrelevancy. Pick one, Western man. But anyways, that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned one thing or two about Hollywood's economy and how hard it is to be Bruce Willis. So, leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, do what you like. Have a happy holiday season and watch a Bruce Willis movie or two. I don't care. Do what you want. Okay, I'm going now.